Today's we will discuss about to the Amazon S3 simple storage services. Okay, so in this cloud computing unit 3 KCS 713, that is basically using for the 7th year final year student. So Amazon S3 and SOA, that is using for the simple services. Okay, so agenda, what is in Amazon S3, function and concept of S3, advantage and disadvantage, requirement, pricing, implementation. So what is Amazon S3? What is the means of S3? So S3 means here SSS. So that is using for the simple S1. First one is for the simple, second one is the storage, third one is to the services. So in the previous lecture we will discuss about to the cloud storage. So Amazon S3 is like a cloud storage. So it is storage onto the internet. So how to be using that Amazon S3? So provided via a web service interface, and web service interface that we are using REST and SOAP. Okay, so based on the same infrastructure Amazon uses for its global network for website. Okay, so this using for the Amazon storage devices. So SOA, what is the means of SOA? So already discussed in the web technology lab, SOA is means service oriented architecture. According to the name, so we are using create a architecture according to the services. So S means service is basically an independent component that has a certain function like viewing online bank statement, filling out an app on account, emphasis on modularity or the loose coupling. What is the means of loose coupling? Loose coupling means the implementation is hidden. So the users don't need about to the how to implement this infra. Just they have to access the value and find out the output given to the input and find out the output. What kind of technology, what kind of procedure, what kind of methodology are used in this input to the convert input to the output? Just I am just if for example, if you just want to pay the money from the UPI account and just scan the barcode or just put the mobile number and send the amount and just include your PIN and amount sent to the another person. So what kind of functionality used in this architecture? So the user don't know about that. So that is called the loose coupling. A architecture basically means this is not a technology but an approach to the software design. So that is the diagram of the service oriented architecture. So that is a completely service oriented model. Here is the user which is using the phone, which is using a PC, which is using the laptop. So services can be used and accessed from any devices that hook up to the web. Recurring ongoing cost, that is we are using the platform as a service. Example, integration with the Salesforce, stuck together, mesh up using Google Map API as front end to maintain in the cloud. So software as a service and or the data as a service. So router optimization of software that uses the data to generate quickest routes, or addressing data, geodata or personal data, perhaps a list of client information. So the user using that particular services for according to the user's need. Okay, so that is called the service oriented architecture. So how the service talk to each other? So for example, if you want to talk one service to the another service, okay, for example, if you want to pay something from the UPI from the Amazon and other websites, so in the past through COM means certified orientation and mobilities, or ORB, object request brokers, but recent SOA using web services, XML based passing, that is using for the ad hoc philosophy, platform language, OS independent. More recently are being offered for a price like in the travel industries, financing using of the the software services. What is Amazon S3? Like already told about that, S3 equals to 3S, simple storage service, and SOA which provide online storage using the web services. It's allow read, write, delete permission on the object. Using two types of services are using REST services and the SOAP protocol used for the messaging passing. So you can use various development toolkit with the S3. So how it is work? Store data on Amazon distributed system containing multiple server within the different location center of the Amazon. Data takes time to propagate, can store in the North America, Europe, any other countries. Amazon doesn't offer you a GUI based tool to access your data. You can use one of the several tool online or build one through the, you can using the API also. Okay, application programming interface. So in the S3, these are the some component. First is object. Object means what kind of information you are storing. In this information consisting the metadata. Metadata means system metadata. Have a request ID header which you have any ID useful for the Amazon staff, and uses metadata like 2 KB max, date last modified, file size, or anything else you would like. For example, your data size, your information about your data, and data is basically using for the 5 GB maximum data we can using into the Amazon S3. So what kind of function and concept of S3? So these are the some functions. So allow unlimited storage of object file containing of 1 byte to the 5 gigabyte. Object consists of the raw object data and metadata. Object are stored and retrieved using a developed assigned key. Data are kept secure from unauthorized access through authentication mechanism. And object can be made available to the public by the HTTP or the BitTorrent protocol. So what is bucket? Second is bucket. Bucket means that is like a container. Container means we have to store the data. So bucket are owned by the AWS cloud, and using that website http mybucket.s3.amazonaws.com we can access this website to create a own bucket. If you have file called hi.txt in the above bucket, it would be stored in http mybucket s3 amazon.com as hi.txt. So just put your name in this place. For example, your name is my.txt. So just put my.txt after that link. Okay. So this is the address of your file. All objects are stored in the buckets. I already told that bucket is simply a container for object. It's simply used for the partition or namespace object at the highest level. Buckets are similar to the internet domain names. They are accessed via bucket names s3 amazonw.com. Each developer account has a limit of 100 buckets. More information of bucket can be found we can using that particular link, and we can easily found the information about the using of the bucket and concept of the bucket. Next component is keys. So keys basically are represented, files are represented as a unique key within the bucket. So in reality the key is basically your file name, that is unique. So file.txt, your file name is basically the unique name. So just put the file.txt in this after this bucket link. So key is basically a unique identifier for an object within the bucket. A bucket are key to together uniquely identify each object in S3. Every object can be addressed through bucket and key combination. So any object have a bucket or key combination. Bucket ho gaya, that is bucket is basically your the container, and the key is basically your name, file name. For example, your bucket name is my bucket and key name is myhomepage.html. So the URL of this object is http mybucket.s3.amazonaws.com/myhomepage.html. For example, your bucket name is only R bucket. So just put the R bucket in this position, and my R homepage is like the here myhomepage.html. So that is the combination. Both the combination have a unique identifier. Use either the REST or SOAP API to do the following and more, that is using for the operation purpose. So just first is create a bucket, your bucket name, write an object name, read an object, delete an object. Be careful not to rapidly create and delete the object, and find out the file name like the keys. So we had identified these values, and we can using that operation of the S3. For example, this is the code of to build your own app Java example. Access key identify you the request associated with your account. This is sent as plain text to the message. Secret access key used to generate a signature, not sent as plain text. AWS authorized connection new AWS authorized connection. AWS access key ID, we already know that. AWS secret key access ID, we know that. Response response is equal to con create bucket name null. If response connection get response code 200, bucket was created, else otherwise something bad happened. That is the key. We can using different language, C sharp, Perl, PHP, Ruby, Python. These are the supported language. After that Java. So what kind of requirement for the S3, Amazon S3? So to get started using S3 and AWS account is needed, is AWS account is needed. So you have to just create your AWS account. Simply an Amazon.com account, and that has AWS service enabled. So you can email, just put this site aws.amazon.com. So after creating AWS account, you need to sign up for the S3 by clicking the sign up or this website button at this page. A credit card need to be associated with the account. You will be given an access key ID. You have access key ID and the secret access key on the successful creation. They are not emailed to you. Implementation to start using S3, get hold of your S3 access ID or and the secret access, just like your user ID and password via the AWS portal. Next, get hold of an application capable of managing S3. Here are the few resources: Space Block, S3 Web Interface, S3 Firefox Organizer, Windows application, Web application, Firefox add-on. These applications may object more manageable because they provide a directory structure similar to the Windows Explorer. So pricing already discussed about. To charge for using S3 is based on your location of your bucket. You are billed according to the storage average, data transfer in and out, and the number of requests per month. There is no minimum fees to use S3. You pay only the what you use. You can view your current charges incurred almost immediately on the S3 portal, and detailed usage reports can also be downloaded into the XML or the CSV format. So whenever you want some use, just you have to pay the amount of your uses. So like the uses, 0.15 per GB, month of storage usage $0, data transfer 100 per GB, all data transfer 170 per GB, 0.170 per GB, first 10 TB month data transfer out, 40 TB month data transfer out, next year 1000 data transfer out month over 152 TB. Per 100 PUT post and list request, 100 get and all request, no charge for the delete request. If you are delete request, so these are the amount of your US uses. Okay. Advantage, scalability, already know that the amount of storage bandwidth you need can scale as you like. You can expand or minimize your needed. Availability, always data is available in your service, is not affected even if you are getting 110,000 users overnight. Unlimited storage, you pay as you go. Inexpensive and no capital outlay, great for startup. Data is accessible from any location. Since it is based on the Amazon infrastructure, it is probably more reliable than other cheap data storage provider. So these are the some also disadvantages: not user friendly for the beginner, used for the advanced user, basically UI less. Trust, not all type of business or service might be comfortable with the storing of their data in the Amazon cloud, especially which is extremely sensitive and confidential data like the banking data. Although it promises 99.9% of the security uptime in its service level agreement in 2008, it has two major outages in the February and July, bringing down Wave 2.0 startup like Twitter. Back in 2007, S3 had speed issue with reading and writing of the data. So summary, SOA allow us to access service we want without having to worry about language, platform, OS diversity. Amazon S3 is easy to use service that allow us to store data on their facilities for a minimum cost, potential using it for things like torrenting, wave hosting, FTP app, online backup, etc. etc. So these are the some references for the Amazon S3 documentation and programming Amazon Web Services, Wikipedia service oriented architecture. So today's lecture, here's end of today of lectures. S3, Amazon S3, we have discussed the Amazon S3. If you have any query, just ask my mail ID guptapradeep@akgc.ac.in. Thank you.